Hello and welcome to this Red Gaming Tech video. Myself, Marta, where as always I'm here with the latest from the tech world in the last 24 or so hours. To bear with me today, guys, unfortunately I have come down with a cold again. Thankfully it's not as bad as last time, but I do still sound a bit nasal, so bear with me as I just chew through so much vitamin C, it's not even funny. Anyway, let's talk topic, and the first thing is actually regarding Intel and Arctic Sound. Now, of course, we have been discussing Intel Arctic Sound, or Intel Xe, for quite some time, a few months, and Intel themselves have not been shy about their plans to enter the discrete graphics card market, and there's been a lot of speculation as to the performance we can expect, how much of a challenge they're actually going to present to both AMD and Nvidia, and how they're going to sort of measure up against the years of experience that both those companies have. And we have some comments from the Alienware founder and general manager Frank Azor, who discussed in an interview, should I say, with India Times at CES this very topic. So let's look at what he had to say. And he said, quote, "Having the number of gaming products come into the gaming market as we've had in recent years has made this the best time to be a gamer ever, you know? 20 years ago, there was just a handful of gaming systems and gaming technologies available out there, and it was tough to be a gamer. It was expensive. You didn't exactly have gaming keyboards, gaming mice, gaming monitors. It was tough. Today, there's a broad spectrum of choices available to you at all types of price points, so more solutions in the graphics space is only going to help gamers." So we embrace the added option of having Intel graphics come into the picture. That's great. The challenge of besting Nvidia and AMD's gaming performance is enormous, and it's not my expectation that it's going to happen immediately with the Intel GPU. And my expectation is that Intel will come in with a good product, it will serve its place in the market. I don't think they will best an Nvidia GeForce RTX 2080 Ti graphics card. I think if anybody has that expectation, they're going to be disappointed. If Intel does it, that'll be amazing, but I don't think that's reasonable. I mean, Intel is an extremely capable company that I'm sure will produce some really good products, but I think it's unrealistic to think that they're going to best the likes of AMD or Nvidia immediately. Now, so what do you think of his opinion, guys? And let me know your thoughts in the comments, because I'm also going to discuss my opinion right now. And to be honest with you, I think that's a very reasonable opinion to have, and I pretty much agree. Now, I'm sure that Intel are going to be very competitive. They're going to release something that's going to have a really nice place in the market, maybe fill a bit of a gap in the market, while also definitely make AMD and Nvidia look behind their shoulders like, oh no, we've got a new competitor, boys, it's on. But I don't think it's reasonable to expect that it's going to topple the 2080 Ti yet. At least not their first entry. Now, I'm not saying it's impossible, because of course it is. It's very possible. Is it likely is the other question, and I would say probably not for their first entry. Intel are, of course, a massive company. Massive seems like an understatement, but it's the first word that came to my mind, so here we go. But obviously, they are very, very aware, I'm sure, that AMD and Nvidia have a lead on them in terms of just raw experience. So they have been doing this for a long time, and Intel know what they're doing when it comes to processors, obviously, but this is their first foray into this particular market in this way, and the first time they're really directly challenging them in the graphics space. At least obviously AMD have had to battle against Intel in the CPU space for eons, it feels like, but my expectation is that we will see a competitive product from Intel for their first one, but we're not going to be seeing it smashing any records yet. It's very possible that we're going to be seeing that change, but for the first entry, probably not. Anyway, speaking of AMD graphics cards, we actually have a bunch of benchmarks having leaked out for the Radeon VII. So we've got quite a bit to get through here, so I'm not going to dilly-daddle, that's a phrase. But we have, first of all, some 3D Mark benchmarks. Now, you might scratch your head and go, hang on, isn't this graphics card not out yet? Yes, it's not due out, we're not expected to launch, should I say, until February the 7th. But obviously, first review samples are now out in the wild, and of course, we're now having those results that they are doing leak out into the wild. So, as I say, we've got 3D Mark benchmarks first. So I'm obviously going to be talking about the graphics score here, not the overall score, because, well, what we are looking at is the graphics card. The processor, of course, is important to the overall score, but we're just going to focus here on the graphics score. So let's start, shall we? So for Firestrike 1.1, we see a graphics score of 27,500 The total result is 19,210, but that is the only comparison I'm really going to give you. Anyway, we have Firestrike Extreme, that's coming in with a graphics score of 13,316, and then we see another Firestrike Extreme result of 13,468, and then Firestrike Ultra we see one result of 6,871, and then yet another result at 6,782. Now we also see some comments on this very same topic from Tom Apisak, whose name you should be quite familiar at this point as he's quite a well-known leaker, and he has actually found some other graphics scores, and again these are for graphics rather than the overall score. So for Firestrike here we see 27,400, we see Firestrike Extreme at 13,400, and Firestrike Ultra at 6,800, and then TimeSpy at 8,700. So just to give that a little bit of context, let's go back to that very first result there, as we do see this particular result actually beating the RTX 2080. And this is against a custom factory overclocked RTX 2080 card, which scores 26,800 points in Firestrike. And we see a 6,430 result in the Ultra preset as well, and the Radeon VII is faster in both of these benchmarks. But that is not the only set of benchmarks I have for you today, no. We actually have some for Final Fantasy 15 as well. So, before I get into these results, and this is by no means me saying we should chuck these results in the bin, I'm just saying let's tuck this under our hats collectively, that Final Fantasy 15 is an Nvidia title, and does tend to favour those cards, and also has some tech that is exclusive to the RTX series. Now again, these results are still valid, but that is just something you should keep in mind. Anyway, so we have some 1440p results here for standard and high quality. Start with standard, as we have the Radeon VII coming in at 8,321, just coming in above the 2070, which scored 8,028, but coming in just under the 2080, which was 9,571. However, the high quality results are unfortunately a little more disheartening, as we see the Radeon VII even lower, coming in underneath the 1070 Ti, and of course the 2070 and 2080. So the Radeon VII scores 5,324, the 1070 Ti is at 5,633, the 2070 is 6,703, and the 2080 Ti is 9,901. So again, this is a benchmark that does favour Nvidia, so that is something that is worth keeping in mind, but we do see as a bit of a mixed result here, as we see it kind of in the lead of the 2080 and 3D Mark, should I say, sorry, and then obviously falling behind it in Final Fantasy 15. So let's not go yay or nay just yet. That's my personal take on this. We need more results from more games, more benchmarks, before we can really comment one way or the other on what the early performance seems to be like for the Radeon VII, as we've kind of got two ends of the spectrum going on here, and we kind of need a bit more data before we can really have an opinion overall, to be honest. So let's wait and see on this one. Anyway, let's move on to our final topic for today, which is a little controversy that's going on regarding Metro Exodus. So, a bit of backstory in case you've somehow missed this, because, well, you might have just gone to work, come back home, and all of a sudden everyone's going, oh my god, did you hear about Metro? And you're like, what happened? I don't understand. And basically what we have is Metro Exodus is the latest game to join the timed exclusivity agreements that have been going around on the Epic Games Store. And this is not the first game, obviously. We have seen other games do this, such as Hades and Ashen as well. And we've also seen, for example, The Walking Dead Final Season and The Division 2. So this topic has been causing a lot of upsets, because while it is timed exclusivity, it is not exactly a short time exclusivity, because for Metro, specifically, we're going to be seeing this game come into other storefronts in 2020, so if you want to get this on Steam, you're going to have to wait a whole year, basically. Now, unsurprisingly, this has been extremely divisive among PC gamers, but Valve have remained rather silent on it. But today, they have actually posted this on the Steam page for Metro Exodus, and they've said, quote, "Sales of Metro Exodus will be discontinued on Steam due to a publisher decision to make the game exclusive to another PC store. The developer and publisher have assured us that all prior sales of the game on Steam will be fulfilled on Steam, and Steam owners will be able to access the game and any future updates or DLC through Steam. We think the decision to remove the game is unfair to Steam customers, especially after a long pre-sale period. We apologise to Steam customers who are expecting it to be available through sale through February the 15th release date, but we were only recently informed of the decision and giving limited time to let everyone know." So it's not really a direct call out exactly, but the tone of that particular message is not exactly impressed, and do you really blame them? Because Valve are probably thinking, like, guys, if you're going to do this, you really should have told us sooner before we took a bunch of people's money, and probably made them think, oh yeah, I'll wait to get the game on Steam, you know, so it's not out till February the 15th, and I'll wait for payday or whatever, and now obviously they can't unless they want to get it on Epic Games' store. But that's not the only comment we actually have on this particular topic. We actually have comments from THQ Nordic themselves, who took to Twitter to talk about this topic. And they said, quote, "The decision to publish Metro Exodus as a timed Epic Store exclusive was made entirely on Koch Media's side, as Metro is their intellectual property. They're a sister company of THQ Nordic Vienna, which is the reason why we can and will not comment on this matter." I think they meant can't there, but never mind. "We do not want to categorically exclude the possibility of timed exclusives for any of our games in the future, but speaking in the here and now, we definitely want to have the players choose the platform of their liking and make our portfolio available to as many outlets as possible." Now, if that statement strikes you as a little strange, it pretty much should, because, well, you may recall, if you stretch your mind back to last February, I know it feels like an age ago, THQ Nordic actually acquired Koch Media back then, so they own them. They're saying, oh, they're a sister company, but it's like, you own them, so you're blaming your subsidiary, question mark? Bleh. Now, as I said, this whole topic of the Epic Games Store exclusivity has definitely been a very divisive one, with many calling it anti-consumer. And I can't really blame them for feeling that way, because it does feel like exclusivity is not really something that belongs on PC. Now, before you say it, I am aware that Origin and Uplay are a thing, but that's not really the same situation as we have here, because, well, for example, Battle.net and Uplay and stuff like that, those games are literally made by those companies. So Blizzard make a game, it goes on Battle.net, because that's their platform. It's their game, they made it. And same for Origin, EA's published games will go on there because their development house made the game. And the same for Uplay. That's not unreasonable. It's a little irritating to have to use a whole new launcher just for The Division 2 or whatever, just to give an example, or Assassin's Creed, or whatever game you want to think of is irrelevant. The point remains the same. But in this case, Epic is buying these games and making them exclusive, timed exclusive, sure, to the store. And there's a lack of regional pricing, which is really screwing some people over outside of the USA, not all, which is something that needs to be resolved. A lack of refund policy. It does feel like the Epic Games Store, as good as it is as a start, was launched a little early. There's some features missing that I would say are definitely needed, and I feel like this topic would be less controversial if they had some of these features. Not even talking like extra fluff, like cloud saves and stuff like that. That's needed, sure, but it's not as critical as having regional pricing and refund support and all that sort of stuff. Like, that comes first, in my personal opinion. So I'm curious as to your thoughts on this one, guys. Would you say that this whole Epic Games Store thing is anti-consumer? And let me know your thoughts. You know, why do you have the opinion that you do? If it's yes, let me know. If it's no, also let me know. I'm curious. Anyway, that is me done for this video. Thank you very much for watching. As always, your support is highly appreciated, and I'll see you next time.